Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to our National Training Week session. I'm Husnina and I am delighted to be your host for today's session. Today, we are honored to have our expert trainer, Ms. Kat, who will be sharing her valuable insights on mastering competency-based training needs analysis. So as a reminder, kindly rename your profile to your registered name for attendance recording purposes. Other than that, please keep your microphones muted throughout the session to avoid any disruptions. If you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat box and Ms. Kat will answer them accordingly. So without further ado, I hand over the floor to Ms. Kat.
Hello, everyone. Happy morning. Can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me clearly? All right. Thank you. Thank you. See, yeah. Okay, good. All right. So I'm Kat. Okay, my name is Kat, as you can see on my profile. Okay. I will just proceed to share my slide. Please hold on for a while. Okay. All right. Can everyone see my colorful slides? Okay. All right. Good. Okay. So welcome to this short talk. It's just 2 hours. Okay. Definitely very short. Okay. Because whenever I do a TNA training, it's always at least a 2 days lah. Yeah. At least a 2 days. Or sometimes we even do a 3 days. In fact, yesterday I just finished a certified training needs assessor that is just part 1, which is 3 days. And we will have another 2 more days. All right. But nevertheless, I think probably like for many of you, you have done TNA before. 2 days, 2 hours talk probably would be sufficient for you to refresh a little bit of things and also to gain a bit of insights or tips lah. All right. Okay, let me just introduce myself a little bit more. Okay, as you can see on the screen, this is my photo sometime back already, I think. Okay, yeah. And myself, I'm a freelance trainer. I'm a consultant. I'm a HR consultant. Okay, this year would be my 22 years, 8 months, right? From the day I come out as an intern, you know, in Lion Group, I used to join Lion Group as an intern, until today, you know, as a freelance trainer. So it's 22 years and 8 days, 8 hours, 8 months, sorry. Okay. Yeah. And also I have a bit of experience working in a few organizations. All right. Maybe I should use my laser pointer. Okay. So I have been working with Top Glove. So I was with Top Glove for 3 years plus, 3 years, 9 months in total. Yeah. Then before I came out on my own, I was with Sunway Group. Okay, so I was with in their Sunway Group. We have 13 business unit. So one of the business unit is called Leisure, which is generally shopping malls and also theme park. So some of you may know Sunway Lagoon and also Lost World of Tambun. So that's the theme park, Sunway Theme Park. So I was with the theme parks for about 3 years plus before I came out on my own. Yeah. Services logistics is a big part of my total years of experience, about 8 years there. So I used to be working with a company, UK-based company, no longer around. It's called Excel Logistics. Some of you may know. Then it was acquired by DHL. So after that, it slowly became DHL. Yeah. I was also with F&B industry. I think some of you love pizza, right? Because it's a virtual training, so sometimes it's hard for me to see hands and reactions and all these things. So usually I will ask who likes pizza, you know. Okay. All right. So I was with the F&B industry. I was with Domino's Pizza. Okay, so very interesting company, very strong core values. Yeah, so I was with them also for around 3 years plus as a training head. Yeah, very big team that I have. I have 42 person plus me, 43. Yeah, so very interesting company. A bit about my certification. Okay, I removed something from my certification. I used to be a certified senior professional HR under HLCI, but my certification just lapsed. So I remove it because of respect purpose. So as a certified senior professional HR, we generally learn about the global HR practices and also Malaysian HR practices. So, and I used to train people on certifying training HR managers lah. Okay, because in UK, if you want to be a very senior HR person, CHRO ke, senior manager, you need to be certified. Yeah. And Malaysia is keen to do that. So they actually brought this certification program over. All right. I'm a certified PSMB trainer. So definitely when I do training, it can be claimed under HRDC. Okay. I'm a certified image consultant, not really because I love to berdandan and look good. I'm actually quite simple kind of person. However, when I was in Top Glove, my boss, ex-boss, Tan Sri Lim Vichai, actually sent me for this. And because he wanted me to come back and train the managers, the head of factory, and also the sales of and marketing on this lah. Yeah, hence I became a certified image consultant. And as a trainer, maybe some of you are trainers also. So as a trainer, it's good to go for this CBTE. So something like our PSMB 5 days TTT program. So where you learn how to develop program, you train, and also you assess the training effectiveness. Okay. And I'm also a certified professional facilitator in DISC. If some of you know DISC, ataupun the bird personality, right? So D is dominant, okay? The bird that represent it is eagle, all right? So people that are high D, they are very result-oriented, they are fast-paced, they are authoritative. So that's the D, that's the eagle, okay? Or you could be I, the influence, or the bird that represent it is the peacock. Okay, peacock. So peacock like to show off their tail, their beautiful tail, and they're talkative, they are vibrant, they are good PR person, they are very people-oriented. So that's the I influence, okay? Or you could be the S, the stable, or Chinese we call steady pom pipi, yeah. So very stable people, quiet but analytical. The bird that represent it is the dove, okay, the burung merpati, yeah. So they are quiet, but they are very analytical, they have flow, they have pace. So that's the S, okay? Or you could be the high C people, high compliance people, which is represented by the owl, burung hantu, okay? And burung hantu generally, they are very careful, they are very cautious. And being a compliant person, right, they will follow the SOP, rules, regulations. They like things to be black and white. Yeah, either you tell me black or white. Don't tell me gray one. Or either you tell me yes or no. Don't tell me, depends. So the high C people are like that. So I'm a certified DISC facilitator. So I run a lot of DISC assessment in order to help company to know about probably sometimes how do I hire the right job fit, the right TNA fit. So I do that a lot, okay? And there's one new certification that I haven't added in here. I'm also a certified NLP practitioner, coach, and also timeline therapist. Okay, so recently I got this certification because I love to study human behavior. And I think NLP is one interesting way to do it. Okay, so that's generally about me. I think I will just move on, okay? Usually I will talk more about here, but today, since it's just 2 hours, let's not spend too much time on here. Huh? Okay, so the learning objective, even though it's a 2 hours talk, I wanted to give you something, okay? So hopefully after 2 hours talk, right, what I hope that you can bring back is some tips in order for you to prepare well on conducting your TNA exercise. So right now, actually, end of the year, is a lot of companies time to actually do the annual TNA exercise, the training needs analysis. Okay, so hopefully if you are doing it or planning to do it, this will give you a bit of insights about what you can do better, all right? And the second one, I want to share with you some of the key deliverables of TNA. Okay, so of course, after TNA, the common one is you have your ATC, your annual training calendar, and you have your training budget, okay? But I think we should also have a few more key deliverables, okay? So that when you start the year, next year, 2025, you won't kelam kabut, okay? So you will have certain things in place already, okay? So generally, these are the two learning objective that I hope you can bring home. All right. Okay. So probably a little bit about ground rules. Okay, since it's a virtual training, and if you are a trainer, you have done virtual training before, I believe you will agree with me. The thing that we really fear, when we do virtual training is like, I'm speaking like to a wall, no response. Okay. So hopefully that, as we go on, there will be some slides that probably I will ask you a few questions, right? And you can answer me. Okay, so for those brave one, just turn on your mic. Okay, just unmute and just share with me. Okay, or if you are the new generation, you like to use the chat function, please also type in the chat function. I will also look into the chat. Okay, so that's just the simple ground rules for our virtual talk today. Yeah. Okay. All right. So the first question, what is TNA to you? Anyone? Come. Anyone would like to unmute? Tell me, what do you think is a training needs analysis? Don't tell me training needs analysis. I know that. What is training needs analysis? Or anyone wants to type in into the chat box? Please do. Type in the key points. Anyone? Come on. Someone? Yeah. Okay. Anyone wants to answer this question? What is TNA? What is training needs analysis? I believe many of you do TNA. Let me just stop sharing and I turn off my WhatsApp first, because it's a bit noisy. All right. Okay. So what is TNA? Anyone? No one? Hasn't warmed up? Or just being a bit shy? Okay, I see something in the chat box. Okay, ada apa? Say analyze the skills needed for company future development. Okay, I like the keyword there, Sei. Okay, skills, all right, and also future development. So she's looking at the big perspective, the company. Good. Anyone else besides Sei? Okay, I saw Razif say gather some data maybe about the trend. Nice, Razif. Yeah. So I think TNA, a lot of people will do the form filling up, but I think there's a lot of other way to collect data, right? So probably trend analysis, market analysis will help us. Okay, good. All right. I will just, oh, okay. I saw, did I just see someone just type in something? Zulaika say, identifying the gap. Okay, that's one of the keyword, the gap between current employee skills and the skills required. Okay, so your current and also the required standard, the keyword gap. Wow, everyone warm up already. Chen Xiang say, analyze for the company or organization to identify any issues or problems and help to provide suggestions or solutions on job training. Is it JT? All right. Okay. So say gap on competencies to close the gap. Okay. So later we will talk about this word competencies. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let me go back to my slide. All right. Okay. Good. All right. So TNA, let's look at what is TNA. All right. So I have some definition here. All right. Some definition here that you can look through. And anyway, if you want the material, I will send to Excel Academy. Okay, the material. All right. So training needs analysis is the process of identifying the competency gap. So some of you cover the keyword, say you cover competency, skills. Some of you mentioned about that. So when we say competencies, we always try to remember the KSA or the ASK. Okay, whichever way that you like to remember it. So it's generally the knowledge, skills, and also attitude. All right. So we want to see whether our employee is having gap in any of this, maybe the knowledge, maybe how they do things or the attitude, and also how to close the gap. Okay, and a lot of time, I find this mistake by many company, okay, by many training professional. When they close the gap, they will always deploy training classes, training program. Ni stand for training, last stand for training, right? But we should also remember when we deploy intervention, the intervention can be training intervention, can be non-training intervention. Okay, so we will talk about that in details later. Okay, so levels of TNA. Okay, so generally, if you want to do a TNA, okay, so there are 3 levels of TNA. You do a bit of reflection whether you are currently doing it for your company. Okay, so the first one we do is our organizational TNA. All right, so generally you do training needs analysis, you analyze at the organization level. Okay, so when you do this, you need to know about a few things, okay, like for example, the core values of the company, the culture of the company, and also the key metrics, the KPI of the company. All right, so this can be done through interviewing the CEO or GM or MD, right? And ask them what is their direction on training for the next year. Okay, so this is the first level. And then we can have the departmental or functional TNA. Okay, so after the organizational TNA is done, okay, then we will go to all our HODs or the functions and we ask them what are the training needs that they need for their department. Okay, so this is the second level. So before we go for this, it's also important for us to, as a training professional, to have knowledge on what are the key processes and the struggles and challenges of the department. All right. And then the last one, which a lot of company do this, which is the individual TNA. Okay, so a lot of company will actually send out forms to all the individual employee. So let's say if I have 121 employee, I send out forms to these 121 employees. Okay, so is individual TNA really that practical? It's very time consuming, right? So usually I will tell people, you know, after people come for my TNA class, right, they will say, wow, Kat, actually TNA quite tedious also, a lot of things to do. Okay, so can we cut short? Can we have shortcut? So I will tell them, if you really want to shortcut your TNA, just do the organizational TNA and also departmental TNA. Okay, so the individual TNA is the only level of TNA that you can eliminate. All right, so you can eliminate the individual TNA. But if you want to do it, the only benefits that I see from it is, of course, you get to hear the voice of your employee. Okay, you get to know what they really want. Okay, but if you do a good departmental TNA, you will also be able to really look into employees' training needs. Okay, so far, these are the 3 levels of TNA. And just like some of you, you may do KPI setting, okay, if you are strong in performance management system. So when we do KPI setting, we do the cascading rules, right? So we ensure alignment. So TNA is also similar to that, okay? So we always do the organizational TNA. And after that, we send the organizational TNA to all the HODs, all right? And we tell them that, look, this is what the organization wants for next year. Okay, so when you do your departmental TNA, it should be somehow aligned to it. It should be able to, you should be able to propose trainings or interventions that will help the company achieve their objective. Okay, so that's the cascading rules and the alignment. All right, okay. If you have any questions, you may type into the chat box. We'll look at it later, okay? Or just unmute and you can ask me questions. All right. So when we talk about TNA, right, this is another mistakes that a lot of company do, all right? So sometimes as a training professional, when we get all the TNA requests back, okay, whether from our employee or HOD, sometimes we will notice that it become like a shopping list. I call it a shopping list. So they want to go for training that they like. Okay, wow, this one is fun, you know, team building, communication, yeah. So they want to go for training that they like. So as a training professional, I think it's important for us to differentiate what is likes and also needs. Okay, so for example, likes are what the trainer likes to conduct. Okay, contohnya, if you have your own internal trainer, okay, so some of you, you may be your own internal trainer. So I have also had many trainers reporting to me last time when I was in corporate. And I will often find that all these trainers, they have their sort of like their signature program or the program that they really like to conduct. And no matter which company that they go, or no matter which year, they will always propose this training. But the question to ask ourselves is whether do we really need that training, that particular training for that year? Okay, so we have to be careful with that. And what the participants likes to attend. Suka ya, likes to attend. So biasanya we will see team building lah, communication lah, yeah. Some people will choose that, the fun program lah, yeah. So this is likes to attend, okay. What our competitors are doing, okay. Of course, sometimes what our competitors are doing are probably an indicator what is important out there. But what I'm trying to say here is don't try to be very kiasu and kiasi. Yeah? So like, wow, our competitor is doing that. Hey, let's do that also. So not necessary. Okay, so we have to also review that. What seems to be popular out there? Okay, so sometimes there will be certain topics that are popular. So are we really, is it really the right time to do that? Okay, for example, those days, when people started on ESG, so many of you, I also came from company that, we are very ESG. So we talk about protecting the environment lah, less paper lah, all these things, right? So ESG. So is ESG, then I have client asking me, okay, because as a HR consultant, I have clients and they will ask me, so Kat, everyone talk about ESG. Do I also need to have ESG training? Okay, so my answer to them is like, you have to evaluate whether you really need it. Of course, ESG is a good thing, but whether it's the right time to do it. Yeah, so don't rush into doing something. Okay, so evaluate whether your business really need it. Okay, what is nice or fun to have? Like team building lah. Yeah. So for myself, I have done team building, okay, and I have also attended team building. And a lot of time, team building, if it's not crafted carefully, right, you can have the hoo-ha, very happy, for 2-3 days, yeah, 3 days, 2 nights, and then you go back to the company, everything becomes square one, yeah. So this kind of thing we have to be very careful. Personal interest. So sometimes the individual employee may ask for training yang, if you really think about it, it does not have much relevance to the job. Okay. So I have had people that, ask for training such as, I want to go for image consultancy. I want to go for a training on, cooking classes. Can I go for that? I want to go on certain topics, but when we really look at it, it doesn't really relate to them. And if we ask them, what is the transfer of learning? What is the training effectiveness? They are normally not able to answer it. Okay. And when we say needs, okay, ladies and gentlemen, so training needs analysis, the middle word needs, so it's not training likes analysis. So training needs analysis is about looking into the needs. So what the company needs to achieve as its goal. So if the company has a goal of, we want to achieve Best Employer Award, okay, so in next 2 years' time. So what can we as a training professional help in order to make them achieve the goal, okay? Or I want to achieve certain profit, certain revenue, expand my market segment, my customer segment. So what can we do as a training professional to help them? Yeah, so probably those are the needs. What the participants needs to start delivering in their job. Okay, so for example, sometimes it may be something that they're lacking in. For example, they may not know how to use Excel properly and they process large data, right? So probably it is something that they need to start delivering, okay? Or they are not yet a very good leader, probably they need to start doing that. Or they cannot drive the forklift properly yet, then they probably need to go for that training. What the participants needs to perform better at job, okay, similar. What the company need in order to stay abreast with the market. Okay, so when it's about staying abreast with the market, then probably it's a needs. And what not fun or nice, but crucial for the company. For example, anyone, can you type in the chat? What may not be fun or nice but crucial for the company? I believe we have seen. So what are not fun, not nice, but maybe agak penting untuk the company? Anyone? Let's type in a few. Okay. And I do have to apologize if I'm coughing a little bit because I just recovered from a very bad cough. So excuse me if I need to clear my throat a bit. Okay. All right. Let's see. Razif say training related to law compliance. Yeah, definitely. Not fun, okay. Like recently, you know, there is this you know, they say for every branch or every working location that has more than 5 employees, you need to have the safety coordinator. Kan? So this kind of thing are not fun, okay, not nice, but it's important. Okay, or your e-invoicing, you know, all this kind of training. So this one definitely is a needs. Thank you, Razif. All right, okay. So generally, that's the likes versus needs. So the best way in order for us to analyze all the requests that come in is to ask ourselves whether it's a likes or needs, and also to ask ourselves whether this can really answer to the organizational TNA. So can we actually help the organization to achieve their TNA? Okay, the goal. All right. So what are the common deliverables after TNA exercise? So most of us, we will have the ATC, kan? We will have annual training calendar lah. Oh? So some of you may call it the annual training plan. Some of you call it the training plan. And we have the training budget. Okay. So in my training, I actually have 8 deliverables, okay? But because of time constraint, I won't be covering everything. But generally, the important deliverables that I think after a TNA process habis kan, we should have, of course, the ATC. We should have the training budget, all right? We should have a plan on our training effectiveness monitoring, okay? Meaning to say, if in our ATC, we have 37 training, this 37 training, we need to think of it, okay? Each training, what is the training effectiveness that we want, okay? So later we will talk about the training effectiveness level, okay? So at what level that we want it to happen, okay? What are the tools that we need to start developing? What are the data that we need to start collecting, okay? And it's also good to have the public program list and identified training provider. Okay, because sometimes from after the TNA, right, there are certain training that we cukup quorum, we cukup orang untuk buat in-house training. Yeah, but what about those training that is needed, okay, crucial, tapi just 1 or 2 person to go. So this is where we send them for public program. Okay, so we should actually have one list, okay, to write down all these public program requester, who is the requester, okay, and also start identifying training provider, okay? So myself, I came from corporate, you know, as a training manager, and I appreciate doing this job earlier, okay? Because for me, a good trainer is like hotcakes, all right? So they are snatched up very fast, yeah? So if you wait for next year, 1 month before the training, baru you nak cari trainer, then too bad, okay? You probably won't get very good trainers already, because good trainers, their dates will be actually wiped out, yeah, throughout the whole year already by then, okay? So what we should do, we should identify the training provider, okay? Work with a training provider that probably can give you very good long-term relationship package, all right? And identify those trainers that you really want, choke them, siap, okay? So do it at the TNA stage. And then number 5, okay, this is the last deliverable for today's talk, list of non-training intervention. Okay, so we should also sometimes after getting the TNA request, selain the in-house program, public program, there may also be requests that, you know, it's really not training. Okay, for example, contohnya, let's say you meet the finance manager. the finance manager told you that, oh, okay, Kat, I wanted to groom my assistant manager. Okay, so my assistant manager ni dia good in finance, okay. However, dia not courageous enough in meeting, and I want him to be able to represent me more in meetings. Okay, go for meetings, courageous to speak up, be more assertive. So this kind of thing, it is not necessary you want to send for training. So not everything is about training. So don't send them for presentation skills training or meeting management training. But probably the non-training intervention that is suitable in this case probably is to coach them, the finance manager to coach them, or probably to put them through more key meetings, all right, so that they become more courageous, they get used to it, or probably to mentor them or buddy system. Okay, so we should also have a list of all these non-training interventions as we process all the requests that come in. So at least we can, when the year comes, we don't forget about all these requests that our requester tell us. All right. Okay. So generally, these are the 5 common deliverables. I think that, for TNA, we should, after a TNA, we should have. Okay. So just a reminder, okay, because some of your company, you may be ISO certified, quality management certified. So there are important documentations to show in terms of training. So I came from a company that has a lot of audit. Sometimes we have quality management system audit. Sometimes we have social compliance audit like SMETA, right? And myself also, I'm an auditor. So I would like to let you know that when you do TNA, okay, auditor will actually check on some of these things. So when your auditor come, they may actually ask you, do you have an annual training calendar and monthly training calendar? Okay. And if me, I wouldn't just ask, do you have it? But I will ask, how do you communicate them to employees? How do you ensure all your employees in your organization know about the training that is going to happen next year or in the next 1 or 2 months, right? So this may be something that your auditor may ask, okay? So usually last time how I audit clients, right? I will actually just pick any of the employee and I will ask them, do you know about the company annual training calendar? If you want to go for training, let's say for next month or next 2 months, right? Where do you get that calendar? Do you know where to get it? Okay. And if the employee can tell me, oh, yeah, it's on the notice board. Oh, yeah, we receive it in the email. Then it's good. Okay. That means you have done some proper communication there. All right. And auditors also may check on your training budget because this is your commitment from the management. So if you allocate training budget, yeah, sometimes, of course, we know that HLDC is our main funding lah, yeah. But besides HLDC, maybe sometimes certain company will put aside another 1% of total salary cost, yeah, or 1.5%, 3%, and this training cost, this training budget is a commitment from management. So they may also ask on that. They may ask you about your planned versus conducted list of training. Okay, so those trainings that inside your ATC, of course, those are the planned training. But as you go on the year, right, whether it's postponed, conducted, or cancellation, right, you need to track it. Okay, an auditor may ask you, kenapa this one postponed? Kenapa this one cancel? And if you have a very high postponement or cancellation rate, it may mean that your company are not committed enough to training. Okay, so your auditor may check that. And your auditor may also ask you on training effectiveness monitoring and evidence. Okay, so they may just pick one training, okay, that you claim has been conducted from the list. And then they will ask you, okay, this forklift training, how do I know that it's effective? Okay, so this is where you need to have all the evidence, okay, whether it's your happy sheet, your training evaluation form, or whether you have a spot checklist, okay, you have an observation list, or you have a test, right? So these are all the evidence that you should be keeping, okay? So, and another one, okay, probably they will pick any of the employee and ask you to show the training record, okay? So setakat ini, can I have this Muhammad Razif, right? Muhammad Razif, can you show me the employee training record for Muhammad Razif. How many training that he has attended? How many hours? Okay, so they may ask for that. Okay, so be very careful. So when we do TNA, right, when we start our TNA, we also need to make sure all these things are properly tracked and is in place. Okay, all right, good. Okay, so let's move on now. Okay, so this is a heavy piece. This is the typical flow of activities in a TNA process that I want to show you. Okay, so this is ideal practices. So always I tell people that in a training, okay, as a trainer, I will give you all the ideal practices based on best practices out there. Okay, and after looking at it, you may think that, wow, this is so tedious, Kat, you know, so many things to do. Okay, so then you go back and you think which one you should do, which one probably you could skip. Okay. So generally, the flow is this. So of course, you have the preparation work. You get ready the TNA form. You get ready your learning directory or training catalog bank. Okay, learning directory or your training brochures lah. Okay, so some company has this. Okay, especially if you have a training academy, right? That is profit centered. You will have a learning directory. So learning directory is this. So you imagine you have a booklet of all the trainings that you are going to offer next year. All right. And maybe it's in-house trainer punya training. Maybe it's external training. Yeah. So you get all these brochures, outlines and everything, and you compile it. Okay. So when you do TNA, this will help you because sometimes when we do TNA, right, you will come across employee that ask you, oh, what training can I choose from? Do you have any suggestion of training? Yeah. So if you have a learning directory, then you'll be able to give them this directory. Choose from here. Okay. Inside here got banyak training, soft skills training, leadership training, computer applications training, safety training, cultural training. Choose from here. Okay, so that will actually help the employee has a clearer idea what is being offered in the company. Okay, so the training catalog bank is a term that last time my ex-staff Sheila used in Domino's Pizza. She likes to call it training catalog bank. Yeah, I don't like the name, but I'm not the type of leader that want to dictate on the name. Yeah, so I still keep it in credit of her effort. Okay. And also you could get ready the staff name list. All right. So staff name list if you want to do the individual TNA. Okay. So when you want to do the individual TNA, you want to make sure every staff do it. So this staff name list you get from HR, payroll side. Okay. Give me a staff name list by department. And this is like a checklist that you give to the HOD. Okay, for example, finance, you have 16 person in finance. I want to see the 16 individual TNA. Okay, so it's just formed as a checklist. But if you do not want to do an individual TNA, then don't have to do that. Yeah, don't have to have the name list. Okay, so after you get ready this, you can conduct the organizational TNA. All right, so you can go and interview or give a form to your CEO, MD, and you conduct the organizational TNA. So after conduct the organizational TNA, you get them to sign dekat bawah tu, and you send this to all the HODs as a direction. So you can email it out and tell all the HODs, okay, this is the organizational TNA. Now it's time for you to complete your departmental TNA. All right. So it could be form filling up also. It can be interview also. Yeah. And after they conduct, they sign, okay, the TNA, we check the TNA, okay, good, we sign. And then the HOD now can share their departmental TNA to all their department staff. Okay, so for example, last time as a HR head, right, okay, I will gather like my staff, okay, my HR staff, let's say if I have 9 of them, I will gather them and I will show them the HR departmental TNA for next year. Okay, so before the next year come, I will show them, okay, so all my team members, this is our departmental TNA for next year. And these are the focus or direction for HR. Yeah. And right now, you go and do your individual TNA, and it somehow has to be, you know, contributing to our departmental TNA. So don't write anything that is likes. Don't write a shopping list for me, okay? But write something that you think you need to have in order to support you to become a better and more productive employee, and also to help us achieve our department TNA. Okay, so that's where the individual TNA will happen, but this is optional. Again, like what I said, you can eliminate this stage. And number 7, analyze all the TNA input. So after you finish the 3 levels of TNA, you can now analyze all the input and you start drafting your ATC, annual training calendar, your training budget, your public program list, and you can also list down all the non-training interventions that may happen for next year. Okay? And after that, you present to the management team, the senior management team, and you seek their approval. Okay? So the approval is important because especially if you have audit, yeah, so the auditor will want to see that, hey, this is a commitment. Okay? So the management actually approve it. All right? And then after they approve it, barulah you start do all the internal thing. Okay, so all the other deliverables, such as your training effectiveness monitoring. Okay, so you do not want to do this training effectiveness monitoring so early, because why? Let's say at number 7, when you present the ATC, you have 40 trainings inside. Okay, 40 trainings. And you present to your management may not agree to have all the 40. Yeah, so probably after they talk to you, probably it become 35. Okay, so you only think about the training effectiveness monitoring for that 35. Okay, so don't do more work. All right, so number 9. And then number 10, okay, then you can send out your ATC to all employees. All right, so the common timeline in my past employment, I would send it out. Let's say if the financial year of the company is start from January, okay, so very first week of December, I would have sent out the ATC, at least paling lewat, okay, first week of December. All right, so that is to allow them enough time, okay, to have a look at it and, oh, okay, so this is what is for next year. I want to go for this training. During my TNA, I asked for this training. So now I know when is the date. Okay, so you send it out. And number 11, you can carry out the rest of the TNA internal tasks. Contohnya, you want to start looking into the training providers. Okay, so some companies do a 3 training providers comparison, right? So this is time when you can look into the TP and you can select your trainer, right? You can even talk about customization. Yeah, so you can do all this number 11, yeah, before the year come. So when the year come, it is very smooth flowing. Okay, so all good with this flow. Okay, I know it's quite a lot. Okay, so in my full training, I will actually cover in detail each of the steps. Okay, but over here, 2 hours, we can't do much. Okay, so this is just for you to have a glimpse of it. Okay, so normally what I will do, I like things to be organized and structured. And in order to make sure my ATC go out on time, right? So normally I will have this, I will prepare a Gantt chart, Gantt chart or Gantt chart. Okay, I will prepare a Gantt chart. I will have all these steps inside. And all these steps we will delegate to who? So let's say I will delegate to my executive of training. This one I will delegate to my assistant of training. Yeah, so we will delegate, okay? And we will put the timeline, okay? So organizational TNA has to be done in 1 week time from 31st September until 4th of October, katakan. Okay, so when you have this Gantt chart, you can actually visualize the whole process and it's very organized. Then you can make sure that your ATC is sent out on time. Okay, so this is my personal practice. Okay, I like to do this in order to make sure that everything go on smoothly. All right, okay, so typically it depends. Some people may ask this question. So Kat, how long do you take to do this whole TNA process? Okay, that really depends on the size of your company and also how many departments you have and also the culture of your company, right? For example, some companies, some HODs can take forever to fill up a form. Yeah, so you may need longer time. Okay, so generally, like for example, when I was in Top Glove, right, it's a big company. So we will start doing it in October. So October, November, December, we will have very less training already because these 3 months, right, this last quarter is very busy for us. We want to really focus on doing our TNA. Okay, so 3 months. But I have also have client that is small, medium industry, enterprise, SME, and they can get it done within 1 month. Very fast because it's a small company. Okay, so really depends. But you really want to plan properly, and if you can, use the Gantt chart. Okay. All right. Okay, how can we collect TNA data besides form completion? Come, let's tap into the chat. Besides giving TNA form to your HOD or your staff to complete, right? So that they can tell you what training or non-training intervention that they want. Any other ways that we can collect TNA data? Let's type it in. Then we will look at some of your answers. Or you can unmute and just share. Okay, give you a while. Any other ways besides form filling up? Because not everyone likes to fill up form. Some literacy level may not be there. All right. So Chen Xiang say interview or face-to-face conversation. Yes, definitely. So you can arrange appointment with your HOD or GM, right? Okay, Zulaika say from performance appraisal. Yeah. So very common. Yeah, Zulaika, thank you. So in performance appraisal form, normally akan ada one question. Do you need any training, right, for next year? So it could be that, okay, can be built in inside performance appraisal. Anything else? Okay, all right, nampak macam tu aja. Okay, so let's explore. Okay, so some of your data source and also collection method. So for organizational TNA, of course, you can interview the MD and also the CEO. So usually I will also give them a form. I will send to their PA and ask the PA, can you give this to the CEO? So these are some of the questions that I want to ask, the business direction for next year, key training for managers next year, key training for non-managerial level next year. We will give them a form. But I think many of you would agree with me. Most of the time, they don't really fill it up, right? They don't really fill it up. They are too busy to fill up form. Okay, so in fact, I worked in 9 companies before I came out as a freelancer. So I'm not a very loyal person. If you're saying how many companies that I work in, I worked in 9 companies before I came out on my own. And all my organizational TNA, none of my CEO, MD, or GM actually fill up the form. Okay, tapi ada seorang yang fill up the form. Okay, so that is Datuk KM Lee, the MD of Top Glove. All right. He actually filled up the organizational TNA form and very, very detailed. So I rasa dia high C lah, high compliance lah. So they really fill up the form. So that actually surprised me a bit lah. So he's the only exception. Other than that, tak ada. Okay. And sometimes I will even have CEO or MD that tell me, Kat, you should know about the company. You fill up lah, then you show to me. Also happen like that. Okay. All right. So form completion definitely is not a good way. You want to go and interview them, okay? But make sure you go prepared, okay? So make sure you know about what is the company struggles, what are the key projects that the company is going to do next year, yeah? Probably roughly what are the KPI for next year, or if you do not know, you can go and ask them, yeah? So I think organizational TNA, right? The questioning skills is very critical. You want to be able to ask good questions, right? You can also study key organization metric or KPI. Okay, so for example, any company that I go and work with, right, I always ask my manager, my future manager in the interview, I will always ask them, will I get the support that I need for me to do training properly, for me to execute learning and development? So of course, everyone will say, of course, we'll give you the support. Okay. Tan Sri Lim Wichai asked me back this question. Okay. So Tan Sri Lim Wichai asked me, when you say support, Kat, what do you mean support? Okay. I like that question. So I told Tan Sri Lim Wichai, I say, Tan Sri, it would means that, for example, if I want to have access to customer complaints data, can I have access to it? All right. Or for example, in theme park, okay, we do customer satisfaction survey every month. We will have survey, okay? So people will go around and ask all these customer visitors that come into our park and give their satisfaction survey. All right. And I need to have access to this data. Okay. So as a training professional, right, training champion, I think we need to know that. Okay. We need to have the business acumen. So this can actually help us to plan our TNA. Okay. We can also look into requirement by the group of companies. Okay. So let's say you come from big group, let's say Berjaya Group, or let's say Sime Darby, right? Or let's say in Sunway Group itself. Yeah. So we probably need to also listen to the Sunway Group, the HQ. Yeah. So they probably tell us, okay, next year, all the business unit, I don't care where you come from, you need to have training on maybe doing better appraisal. I would like you to have a training on this new system because we are going to launch this new system. So requirement by group of companies, because group of companies will have their culture also that they want to inculcate. Okay. And departmental TNA, we can interview the HOD. Okay. Either one-to-one, that means we interview the HOD, or either in group. Okay. So one of the feedback that sometimes I get is it's very hard to catch certain HOD, or they are not cooperative enough. Okay. So ways that I have tried and is effective, right, that I can share with you is sometimes we do it over the strategic business planning. So end of the year, when we, some company, they will say, oh, okay, all the management team, we go out, we go to Lexis Hibiscus, 3 days, 2 nights. First day we play, then the second day we get into a room and then we talk about KPI and all these things. So I have actually built in the TNA part, okay, into strategic business planning. Okay, so we tell all the HODs 2 weeks before the strategic business planning, we give them the slides, the template. We tell them that, okay, please, one of the slides is to propose what are the training that you need for next year. Please come ready. Next 2 weeks, when we go for the strategic business planning, you bring all this input. Okay, so that could also happen. Yeah, and I find it quite effective because after the 3 days, 2 nights, I will have all the input from all the HODs. All right. You can also have form completion, of course. You should also probably study some of the key departments issues. What are the issues? Is it about, let's say, a customer service department? Is it about the complaints or the lead time, or the product quality? And you can check all these things, all right? So when you go over and talk to the HOD, you seems prepared, okay? And look into the goal of the department. So ISO QMS certified company, every department will have their goal, okay? So know what is the goal of the department. And then your questions should be centered around how do I help to achieve that goal of the department, okay? Individual TNA, of course, form completion is the common one. Another thing that I like to do is focus group, okay? So you can generally group people together. Like, for example, we have group supervisors, all the supervisors together, yeah? In a session, okay, 1 hour session or 1.5 hour session. And focus group, you need good facilitation skills. So let's say you were to facilitate a focus group, okay, you must have a secretary, okay, to help you take down notes, because as you facilitate, you won't be able to take down notes, right? So in that focus group session where all the same position title is together, you flash out slides. You ask them, what are the concerns of supervisors? Yeah. What are the critical training that you think supervisors in our company need? So you ask them in the focus group. You can have performance appraisal. Yeah, I think just now Zulaikha mentioned that. You can also get input from your individual development plan or talent development plan. Okay. So if you have IDP, TDP, or career development plan, CDP, okay. So these are there are probably certain trainings that are needed inside to help people accelerate their career. Okay. And if you have a competency framework or competency dictionary, competency framework, so some company already have their competency framework. So you clearly know each department, what are the competencies that are needed. So you base on these competencies and you ask them what are the training or non-training intervention that is required. Okay. All right. And you can also get from external parties. Yeah. All right. So for example, customer complaint summary. You can see what customers are not happy about. Okay, you can use questionnaires to customers or even suppliers, right? We used to also, in order to help improve the competencies of our purchasers, okay? Because I used to work in companies where we have a group of purchasers, right? And we actually send questionnaires to our suppliers, okay? So to get their input. Yeah, we can also do market benchmark. Okay, so out there, what are some important things, for similar industry like us? Okay, so those are all the collection method and source of data. Okay, so depending on your company, all right, some of your company may have system. So some of your TNA form may already reside in the system. Great. Some may not have system, so it may be manual form. But generally, I find manual form completion very time consuming. Okay, so I would prefer to do interview sessions or focus group where I can immediately clarify any unclear answers there and then. Okay, all right. Hope this is good so far. Everyone okay? Give me a thumbs up if you think so far is good. I just want to confirm I'm not talking to walls. Yeah, thank you, Razif. Okay, good. Okay, I'm not so sure. Shanice, thank you. Okay, good. All right, let's continue. Okay, I saw something in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, yeah, so I'm not talking to the wall. Thank you. Okay, let's go on. Okay, some slides more. All right, and if you see the front cover today, when Excel Academy, Nina actually shared, right? It's called Competency-Based Training Needs Analysis. Okay, so for me, I'm into competencies. So I help company do competencies framework. Okay, so as a consultant, I help them develop competencies framework. All right, and I think that whenever you do any HR activities, right, it should be competencies based. Okay, so for example, I do competency-based interview, CBI. So I feel that we cannot interview people using the traditional way. And if you ask question, it has to be based on competencies, right? And same also, when we do TNA, we want to be able to tie it into competencies, okay? So what are competencies? So generally, we mentioned just now the KSA, ASK, right? Okay, so competencies are the knowledge, skills, abilities that someone need in order to perform their job effectively. Okay, as simple as that. Yeah. And normally there are 3 clusters of competencies. Okay, so we have core competencies, generally the core values. All right. We have technical competencies. Generally, technical competencies are also known by other names, departmental competencies. They are also called the functional competencies. Okay, so technical competencies ada 2 nama lain. functional competencies, and departmental competencies. Okay, so these are competencies that relates to each department. Oh, okay. And leadership competencies are competencies that only relates to leaders. Okay, so later we will look at the in detail explanation. And the competency framework, right, or model, if your company has it, good. If your company doesn't have it, I would encourage. So I always tell HR professional, HR managers, if you have time to do one project, meaningful HR project for your company, please do the competency framework. Please come up with the competency framework for your company. Okay, that means the competency framework, you identify the core values of your company, the leadership competencies that will uphold the leaders, all your leaders, and also the technical competencies by department. Okay, so this framework can come in different size and shapes. Ada yang buat dalam, I will do in a bentuk rumah. Okay, some will do in a bentuk bulatan. The middle is the core value. Then the outside is the leadership competencies. So Sunway Group actually is in a round format. Okay, so tengah tu core values, lepas tu leadership competencies, and then out there is probably the technical competencies. Okay, so come up with this so that you clearly know this is the foundation. So when you do your TNA, you know each department apa competencies yang important for them. All right? Okay, so let's look in detail. So core competencies or core values is what applies to all its employees. All. So doesn't matter whether you are, let's say you are a tea lady, you are a cleaner, up to you are the MD, the ED, the GM, the CEO, you should have the core values. Okay, so you should have the core values. And why? Because this defines the culture of the company. So I have one question to you. You all don't have to answer me. How many of you remember your core values of your company by heart? That means you can recite it. If anyone were to ask you, you can recite it. Anyone? Boleh? Kalau boleh, you give me a thumbs up. Any one of you, you know what is your core values. You can recite it. Can, or probably some of you, you don't know, tapi you know where to find your core values. Whether it is on a poster, whether it's in your website, web page, do you know where to find your core values? Okay, so I think the core values is, I always joke with HR professional, core values is like a perhiasan atas dinding. So in a lot of company, they have core values, tapi their staff don't really remember the core values, right? Day in, day out, they pass by, they don't know. Okay, Sei, thank you for being honest. Can find but cannot remember. Okay, so maybe Sei after this go and try to remember it. Okay, so let me tell you a joke. Okay, so I used to train this company. This company, they actually they are modern farming. Okay, so they plant down lettuce leaf, salad leaf. So a lot of the lettuce box that you can buy in Village Grocer, Aeon, all this actually comes from them. Okay, so this company, they plant lettuce leaf and also microgreens, you know, those alfalfa sprouts yang atas salad tu kan. So they plant this. And it's very interesting. I train them, okay? I train their managers, their management team, about 17 of them, if I didn't remember wrongly, 17 of them. And I train them on performance management system. Okay, so performance management system, we say KPI and also competencies. So when it comes to this core value, I ask them, how many of you can tell me the core values of the company? And also, just to let you know, from these 17 people, right, more than 60 90+% of them work for the company for 15 years at least, long-serving staff. Okay, so I tanya mereka, anyone can tell me what is the core values of the company? No one managed to answer it. Okay, and in my training, I give them point system. So kalau mereka dapat answer, I give them point. So I try to entice them lah. I say, okay, come, anyone can answer, I give them 15 points, 20 points. Tak ada orang dapat answer. Click, click, click. No one can answer. But you know what is the joke? The joke is they were wearing this lanyard on their neck, and it has their core values. They only have 3 core values, but they cannot remember the core values. Okay? And some of them, they were wearing this uniform. Dekat belakang uniform dia, ada that embossed that 3 core values, but they cannot. No one can actually tell me. All right? So at that point, the HR head, the head of HR is inside, and the head of HR, kepala dia tunduk all the time. She don't dare to look up at me because she feel very embarrassed. And over tea break, okay, morning tea break, she came and she told me, she said, Kat, I'm so sorry about just now the core value. So I asked her, why are you sorry? So she said that I realized that there is a lack of awareness on the company core values. So I say, good that you notice this lacking. So I think as a HR professional, as a training champion, right, we need to know what is the core values of the company. All right. And ideally, core values should be embedded and integrated into the activities of the company. Okay. For example, let me give you one example. When I was in Domino's Pizza, we reviewed the core values. Okay. So we review it to 7 core values. We call it pride values, PRIDE. Okay. It stands for people rejoicing in delivering excellence, because we deliver pizza, right? And how many of you probably have seen Domino's Pizza selling pizza by the roadside? Have you? Have you seen Domino's Pizza sell pizza by the roadside? And you buy the pizza, 5 ringgit personal pizza at that time lah. Now tak ada 5 ringgit already lah. So some of you probably have seen that before. And do you know why we do that? Because that is one of the activity that falls under one of our core values. Our core values called sell more pizza, have more fun. So when we recite our core values, we need to add action, gesture. Sell more pizza, as in make pizza, have more fun. All right. So we make people sell pizza by the roadside. Even managers, even myself, I need to get into group. We will go to the store. We will take 50 to 100 pizza, personal pizza, put into our booth, choose a location where there's a lot of traffic, and then, we sell pizza, sell like hotcakes, very fast finish one. So there was one time I was selling pizza by the roadside in Subang, near to a Pasar Malam. One of my friend drove and passed by. My friend called me, Kat, is that you by the roadside selling pizza? I rasa itu you lah. I say, yeah, it's me. Can you please come back and buy my pizza? I nak tutup kedai already. Yeah. And he came back. He bought all the 28 pizzas remaining. Yeah. He owned a little shop lah, a little kilang lah. Yeah. So he bought all the 28 pizzas for his staff. Yeah. So this is core values. This is the importance of core values. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you think about it. Okay, what is the core values? And you should know that, because you should tie into the TNA. All right. And then we will have our leadership competencies. Okay. So leadership competencies means it applies to people yang ada formal leadership role. That means in the org chart, if they have one person report to them, they are a leader. They are a formal leader. Okay. And they will have leadership competencies that applies to them. Any one of you can type in 1 or 2 leadership competencies. What are competencies for leaders that are important for leaders? Let me give you one example. Coaching and mentoring may be one. Okay, as a leader, you need to know how to coach and mentor. Anything else? Can you type into the chat box? It's 11:09, right? We have 1 more hour. Good. What are some competencies that is necessary for leader? Type it in. Okay. So we can discuss. One of it, as I say, is coaching and mentoring. Anything else? For a leader must have these competencies. So in your company, let's say you have 102 leaders. So these 102 leaders will need to have these competencies that you identify. Anyone? Coaching and mentoring is one. Anyone else? Business mindset is one. Train the trainer, Razi. Okay. So all leaders should be trainer. Huh? Okay. Integrity, Zulaika. Okay. Zulaika, integrity normally is a core values. Yeah. So if it already is a core value, then it will apply to all already. Yeah. But integrity, I agree. Kan? Lagi? Strategic thinking would be one, right? So as a leader, you need to have strategic thinking. What else? Anyone heard about this DEI? DEI, let me type in. So right now in HR, everyone is talking about this DEI. So anyone know what is this DEI? You can type in. If not, never mind. Later we talk. Okay, Sui Swan say growth mindset. Nice. Huh? So as a leader, you cannot be stagnant, cannot be status quo. You need to like continuous improvement. Good. Anyone know what is DEI? Type it in. So it become quite a topic that everyone talk about. Yeah, because of the different generations, different age group, some company even hire LGBT, yeah. So then DEI comes in. What is DEI? Ada ke? Ada yang nak try ke DEI? What is the D? Dang, dang, dang. I wanted to wait a little bit more. Diversity. Good job, Zulaika. Let me give you a clap. Ada mana my clap? Okay. Oh, nak cari clap pun take some time. Okay. Clap for Zulaika. Diversity. Yes. Oh. So as a leader, we need to have diversity. Oh. We need to respect the diversity. All the different generations working together right now. We have baby boomers probably still ada. Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen Alpha belum masuk kerja lagi, still in school. Yeah, but diversity. What is E? Anyone? Let me get ready my clap first. Anyone? What is E? Empowerment. Good try, Swiswan, but not empowerment. Equality. Good job. Chin Xiang, bagi dia satu clap. Yay. Okay. All right, equality. So as a leader, you must be treating people with equal treatment lah. Cannot be like you treat your local employee better, your foreign worker employee not so good. Or you have biasness, favoritism, then the equality tak ada lah. What is the I? Last one. Okay, last one. I. Diversity, equality. I. These are the key things HR we talk about. Okay. And I think as a leader, we need to have that. It's not just a HR competency, but it's a leadership competency. I. Ada tak? Bukan integrity ya. DEI. I. Inclusion. Nice. Bagi dia clap. Baguslah lah ini. Okay, inclusivity, inclusion. So we need to be including our people in the decision making and all these things. And especially right now, we have the Gen Z in, right? Gen Z, the 2000 babies. So 2024, 2000 babies, they are now 24 years old. And did you realize that the younger generation, they want to be included, all right? So if you make a decision, you force the decision upon them, they are not going to like it. So they want to have a say, all right? So inclusivity is fast becoming very, very important. Good job, everyone. Okay, so that's DEI, all right? And one of the leadership competencies that of a new era leader is the DEI. Okay, all right. And what is the next competencies? Functional, technical, departmental competencies. This one applies only to the specific department or position title. Okay, meaning to say in HR, our technical or functional competencies for HR may be different for finance. Okay, I believe all of us, we are HR people here. Can we type in the chat? What do you think are competencies that are required for HR personnel? HR ni, what define a good HR? What are the competencies that HR people need? Come, let's type in. Let's do a bit of interaction. HR, good HR. What defines a good HR competencies? Cuba fikir. Orang HR yang bagus. Good. What competencies? What are the values or soft skills that they need to have? Ding ding. Not everyone can be a HR, right? Not everyone can be a HR. HR is not a easy role. Okay. So like I say, learning and development. Okay. So we call it people development. Okay. So as a HR person, you need to be people-centric. You need to believe in developing people. Okay. Good. Lagi? HR. If you were to hire a HR person, what are the qualities or values or competencies that you will look in them? Baru, you say this is a fit HR because not everyone can be a HR, right? Apa lagi? Developing others or developing people like Zulaika mentioned, okay? Apa lagi? HR ni kena macam mana? Organizing, yeah, good, Razif. Planning and organizing, yeah. Zulaika said interpersonal skills, good. Interpersonal skills is very broad, yeah. So when we identify interpersonal skills, we need to have the observable behavior. We need to describe it. Apa lagi? Some people will say detail-oriented. Okay, HR person need to be detail-oriented. Especially yang macam compensation benefits kan. They need to be detail-oriented. Okay. Empathy and sensitivity is another HR competencies yang important. Because we deal with people, we need to have empathy and also sensitivity to the different diversified background. Okay, all right. So all these things that you mentioned, planning and organizing, interpersonal, people development, or empathy and sensitivity, they are good for HR. They are needed for HR, but you don't need them for your warehouse people. You probably don't really need it for your operation side. Maybe not the key one. Okay, because operations, warehouse, retail, sales and marketing, they would have their different one. Yeah. For example, sales and marketing people, probably they will need to selling capability, business mindset, business acumen, right? Yeah. So they will probably need to have that. So all these are different by department. Okay. Razif, yes. EI or EQ, yeah, it's also very important. Okay. And EI, EQ fast becoming a leadership competencies, not just HR punya competencies. Yeah. Okay. So generally, these are the 3 clusters of competencies. And if you have a competency framework, meaning to say you have identified what are the core values of your company, what are 3 to 5 competencies for leaders, what are 3 to 5 functional competencies for all the department. Okay, bila you ada ni, inilah you punya foundation or framework, okay, or your base for you to do TNA. So when you go and interview people, yeah, whether your department or you put it in the form, you tie into these competencies. Okay, so clear? All right. Okay. All right. Okay, so how do we link TNA to competencies? Okay, so many ways. All right. Let's say you have a system form, yeah, then can we build in the competencies into the form? Okay, meaning to say they can choose which department I'm from, then all the competencies for their department come out, and then they only identify training that they need in order to meet that competencies. All right. If you're using manual form, probably like Excel form lah, Excel form also other formula that you can build in, so you can actually pick. Okay, so maybe they can select from a list of competencies or from the competency framework and select training related to it. Okay, in conducting the organizational TNA, we want to ask questions relating to core values and competencies. So contohnya when I was in Domino's Pizza, we have the 7 core values. Contohnya our Domino's, kita buat macam heart shape, we put at our heart, our Domino's, sense of belonging. Okay, smart hustle, that means you need to deliver pizza cepat kan, within 15 minutes kan, so smart hustle. So I will go and interview my president, okay, and ask him about these core values. Okay, so Mr. President, when you say smart hustle, what do you want to see? Is there any training that you want, you know, in order to build this smart hustle? Yeah. So these are the questions that you should be asking. Similarly, when you go for the departmental TNA, you want to ask the HODs relating to their functional or department competencies. Okay. Contohnya, if you were to interview a sales manager, right? And the sales competencies are selling capability, customer focus, negotiation skills. You want to ask them pertaining to those competencies. So it becomes very focused. Yeah. You don't ask about everything under the moon, under the skies. Right. And all these steps, right, will help us to steer towards a TNA that is focused on needs, not likes. Okay. All right. So that is the reason why we need to link TNA competencies. All right. Okay. So top tips are, in completing the organizational or departmental TNA, all right, go for the TNA interview prepared. Okay. So when I say prepared, meaning to say you learn up about the company, department punya key concern, objective, even key events or projects for the coming year. Okay. All right. So for example, in the theme park, let's say if we know that, oh, okay, the Songkran festival is coming. Yeah. So our F&B people will be preparing for Songkran. Retail will be preparing for Songkran. Our events entertainment team will be preparing for Songkran. So those are the key events. So what can we help in order to do that? Yeah. For example, in the theme park, if you know Sunway Lagoon, we have Nights of Fright, right? Nights of Fright. So Nights of Fright, do you know that in order to support Nights of Fright, we have training on makeup skills. Tapi this makeup skills yang special one, bukan makeup untuk jadi cantik, makeup untuk jadi hantu. Okay? Because Nights of Fright hantu right? So we have classes where we ask our Scream Park, our rumah hantu punya trainer, okay, and do training to staff, how to make up jadi hantu. How do you make up nampak macam ada satu luka dalam? How do you make up to have a scar here? Yeah, because during the Nights of Fright, we want all our staff to really come prepared like all these things. So we have training like that. Yeah. So that is a good training champion, okay? So the HOD may invite their key personnel to also give feedback. So when you do departmental TNA, don't just invite the HOD, don't just interview the HOD. Ask them that, would you like to ask your supervisor, your left, right-hand man, okay? Because sometimes HOD don't know everything that is happening down there. So you want them to invite their key personnel, okay? Also note opportunity for any internal training, talks, briefings to be conducted, okay? So in company that I work in, we talk about building learning culture. Okay, so a lot of people, when I ask them, what do you understand about learning culture? They say, oh, learning culture is where the company likes to have a lot of training. Okay, but do you know that the word learning culture is not just about wanting to learn, but also wanting to share. Okay, so we also want our employees to want to share things with others. Okay, so often in those companies that I work in, we will have sessions such as SIC, sharing is caring. So we will ask for the HOD, every year, you can share one topic, just 1-2 hours. For example, we have had our F&B manager share about meal etiquettes. Okay, they set up the table, other fork, spoon, knife, other stick, other piece, other bread, other soup. Then they ajar kita how to be better in meal etiquette. Okay, and we also open to staff. So last time when I was in DHL, we actually encourage staff to do sharing, and we pay them 200 ringgit for the talk, for the sharing that they did. 200 ringgit. Yeah. So I remember at that time, we always have this in the training budget. I will allocate 10,000 ringgit for this staff to share about a topic that they like. Okay, 10,000 ringgit because we kept at 50 sessions, only buka to 50 sessions, yeah, in a year. Okay, 50 sessions up for grab, all right? And whoever that want to do the session, they will be paid 200 ringgit. Tapi ada dia punya terms and condition lah. They have to let us check their slides. They have to get at least a training evaluation rating of at least 3.75 or 3.7, something like that lah, over 5. Yeah, so something like that. So we want to encourage staff to also share. Yeah, so we build a learning culture. Okay, so in your ATC, it's not necessary all the training from external party, but can be also from your internal people. All right. Also, not any remarks or good ways to check training effectiveness. Okay, so $1 million question I like to ask department head or my MD or GM is, let's say, for example, my retail manager tell me, Kat, I want to have this upselling skills training. Yeah, upselling skills training. So one questions that we should ask is, what is the key indicator that you will expect after this successful upselling skills training? If I were to give you this upselling skills training, yeah, how would you define as an effective training? What do you want to see at the end of the training? So these are our learning objective. Yang later we will take and we will meet the training provider and the trainer, and we ask them to customize based on this learning objective. Okay. The more you involve the respondent in your TNA, the more sense of belonging they will have, hence they will be more supportive. Okay, so this is a proven thing for me. Okay, so after 22 years being in HR and a long time in training, I always find this, I will always have HODs yang not very supportive in terms of training. Okay, they don't want to release for training and all these things. And I find that the more that I involve them, the more that I go and see them, the more that I try to convince them that this training is going to help you achieve your department KPI and also help to achieve the organizational TNA, the more that they will want to be supportive. Okay, so this is something that I find through my experience. Okay, so we shouldn't be just sitting at the office, but we should be meeting all these people and talk to them. Show that we care for the department. Okay. All right. Often we will ask this question, how do I make my employee wants to attend training? No one seems to be interested in going for training. What say you? Can you all type in the chat, what are some of your ways in order to make employee wants to attend training? I'm sure there's a lot of ways, right? Okay. But what have you done before? What yield result? What is effective? Can you type in the chat? I'll wait a bit for you. What can we do in order to make people want to come for training, interested to come for training? Okay. Say make it one of the staff punya KPI measure. Okay. Yeah, you can do that. For example, a lot of company, they will have training hours, right? Each employee to achieve at least 40 hours of training, you know, something like that. Razif say salary increment after completion. Okay. Yeah, when the push motivation is higher, then people will want to go for it, especially right for talent. Talent. For example, you tell them, okay, in order for you to succeed this role, you need to be going for this training. Well, for sure they will want to go. Yeah, good. Anything else? How do you make employee keen to come for training? How do you create awareness on importance of training? Because sometimes you may go to a company yang belum warm up to training. Okay. Like say, let them aware why they need training and benefits. Influence them that this is for their own value and benefits. Good. Okay. Even if future they leave the company to other company. Good. That's a good mindset, like. Okay. So we always, there is a comic, I believe you have read the comic before. So the CFO asked the CHRO, what if we train our employee and then they leave? Okay, CFO asked CHRO, what if we train our employee and then they leave? So the CHRO tanya the CFO, what if we don't train them and they stay? Lagi mati kan? They stay, and they are stagnant, they are not improving, no use also, what? Yeah. Okay. So Zulaika said, make training relevant. Okay. Echoing lie. We want to explain to them why is the training so important. Okay. Say special allowance for those who have specialist certification. Nice. Yeah. So after they go for certain certification, they have special allowance. Yep. They may want it. Okay. For example, when we certify our pool attendant to become lifeguard, right? They also have some lifeguarding punya allowance. Yeah. Okay, good. And of course, you can make training fun. Okay, good. Let me just minimize the chat. Let me show some of the things that I have on my slide. Okay, so we can have many ways to encourage our employees to go for training. So number one, of course, we have to find out why they are not keen to attend training. We rectify the root cause. Sometimes bukan mereka tak nak datang, tapi sometimes their boss don't release them. Yeah. And if that is the reason, probably you need to go and have a chat with the boss already. Yeah. Okay. Let them suggest training that they need. Okay. So just now I mentioned, if you do individual TNA, the benefits of it is you listen to the voice of the employee. Okay. So they can suggest training that they need. Tie in critical training to their work. Let them see the needs. Like what Zulaika mentioned. Yeah. Make training creative and fun. So make it fun. Make it interesting. Yeah. For example, we have had a lot of, like when I joined Top Glove, right? At that time, they have training, but they don't have a proper training department. Okay. And my first job is to make them realize importance of training. All right. And then I set up the 40 training hours. Yeah. Okay. So many of you, your company may have this training hours thing. So people will ask me, Kat, is training hours a good thing to have or not? Okay. So I will say this now. When your company don't have awareness on importance of training, you set training hours, right? But you have to set something that is reasonable. The market standard is probably 40 in a year, 40 training hours in a year. 40 actually is not a lot. Every month means it's like 3.33 hours if you divide by 12. And you do these training hours to create awareness. So people have to go for training because they need to get the training hours. Okay, but when you set training hours, you need to tell them how to get that training hours. So last time in Top Glove, we do a few things. Like for example, we do breakfast talk. Yeah, breakfast talk. So we will invite external speaker, come in, all right, do breakfast talk. So we serve breakfast, we serve sandwiches, coffee, tea, yeah, cakes, you know. And as we have breakfast, kita tengok lah, kita dengar lah. Yeah, we have breakfast talk. Yeah, we have DVD screening. We choose some good movies. Everyone sit down, we dim the light, everyone watch movie, we give them popcorn and Coke. Yeah, and after that, we debrief about the movie. Dapat training hours. Yeah, and also we have reading. So we let employee choose a book to read, summarize the book, and then we give them training hours. And we also have learnathon, learning marathon. Okay, so at the end of the year, we notice, some people still haven't get their training hours, and we realize that, let's help them get training hours. So we do learning marathon, maybe in 2 weeks, all right? Very short punya training, a lot of topics, 1-2 hours, and they can come for this learning marathon, and they collect training hours. Okay, so we make training actually creative and fun. Okay, in the theme park, we do product knowledge race. We make people run around the park, go to different park, and they have to answer questions. Then they get training hours. Okay, and we can do that because theme park is a fun place. Yeah, but if it's a corporate, macam Top Glove, we cannot get people to run around. Tan Sri Lim may be not happy about it. Okay, avoid having long trainings if being busy is the concern. So some company, they don't like long trainings. I remember when I was in Top Glove, they don't like 2 days training. So all our training need to be split into half day. Okay, tedious, yeah? But that is the concern lah, yeah? Okay, have a few key trainings that is mandatory to all. No reasons not to attend. Okay, maksud I, you have training that is mandatory. For example, contohnya, in food industry, food handler course is mandatory. Yeah, we have refresher, all these things. Then in a theme park, we have BOFA, basic occupational first aid. Yeah, and we have a WOW customer service program. Everyone need to go through. Mandatory. Tak boleh kata tak nak pergi. Yeah, involve their superior in encouraging them and releasing them for training. Okay, boost their confidence during the training. So make the training fun, and if they did something right, boost their confidence there. Make training a personal affair that can be completed at own pace or progress. Okay, so this is an in thing among the new generations right now. They like self-paced learning. Okay, and if any one of you are a training person, right? You probably have heard about child learning, pedagogy. I'm typing in the chat. Pedagogy is child learning, right? Okay. Then you have andragogy, which is the adult learning, right? Do you know there is a new term for self-paced learning? Besides pedagogy, andragogy, there is a new term for self-paced learning. Okay, so it's called 𝐴𝐻𝐻𝑇agogy. Okay, you go and search it up. It's a Greek word. It stands for self-paced learning. Okay, so right now the new generation, mereka suka self-paced learning. Can I sign up for Udemy? Okay, free training. I bought that free training at my own leisure time. Or some company have e-learning. So long you finish this whole module in 1 month time. Tak kisahlah bila you nak buat. Okay, so you can do that. All right. Set training hours target. Of course, we can do that. Tapi like what I say, that is only to kickstart the awareness. Tapi bila your company already active in training, don't set training hours target anymore because you may have people that go for 50, 60 training hours, but where is the effectiveness? are they applying what they learn or not? Okay, so what I like to do is after some time, I will set training target that based on implementation of key ideas after training. Okay, rather than just training hours. All right, okay. All right, let's talk about the deliverable very quickly. ATC, annual training calendar. Can we have monthly training calendar only and not an annual training calendar? Yes or no? Please type in the chat, yes or no. Do you think we should only have monthly training calendar? Tak payah pun nak ATC. Yes, no? You may type in. Yes or no? Or should we have ATC also? Annual training calendar. Actually, we should have, okay? So I will actually say that it's important to have ATC because it's a whole year punya picture of the training. Yeah, okay. And what are some fields inside ATC? Okay, better have annual. Thank you, Lai. Okay, Zulaika said ATC, yes. Okay, so some of the fields inside ATC are, for example, the program title, the targeted participants, okay? And of course, you sometimes have the mode of training, whether it's a face-to-face or virtual training. You have the dates, months of the training. Yeah. You have the trainer mode. This is internal trainer, external trainer. Yeah. Some of the fields. All right. How should we categorize the training? Do you have categories such as soft skills training, computer applications training, safety training, company culture building training? Okay, so we should have that categories. And when should we send out the ATC? Earlier we discussed about that. Okay, so it's good to send out at least a month before the year start. Okay, at least a month. Yeah. And how should we publish the ATC? I would say use as many channels as you can. Okay, so such as you can email it out, you can put it at a few notice board, you can send to the WhatsApp group, okay, and ask those people to star it, jangan hilang, yeah. And many other way you can put in the intranet also, yeah. So the tujuan dia, the main purpose is so that everyone can actually see the ATC, all right? Okay, so is it a good practice to send out ATC? Yes, because we want to ease the department admin job, okay? So if every department has a department admin or the HOD, right? So they can actually look at the ATC and know how to plan for next year. They allow the employee to plan for the training in order to achieve their own training hours. And also employee can be self-directed, can check for training themselves. We don't want to be always bugging them to go for training, but we want them to be self-directed. And it shows the commitment of the company to the auditor is important because you can see the commitment. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember, having too many trainings isn't necessarily a good thing. Jangan terlalu banyak training. Okay, quantity is not always the best. Quality is the best. Okay, when you have too many training, you cannot focus on the training effectiveness. And training does not necessarily have to be external training. So you can creative have internal training. And also know your company peak period, public holiday. Yeah, jangan buat training on this peak period. Okay, and identify trainer at the stage of ATC is more efficient and cost economic. And also, like what I say, good trainers are like hotcakes. Yeah, their schedule will be taken very, very quickly. Okay. All right. Training budget. I will go a bit faster because I noticed we still have like 15 plus minutes. Okay. So, of course, these are the items in training budget. Okay. Your course fee, e-learning material, licensing fee, if you have license program like 7 Habits, yeah, training materials, you have your instructor professional fee if you engage an external trainer on your own. You have the travel for your participants, for your trainer, your lodging accommodation, your meals for training, training refreshment, rental of training hall, yeah. Kalau you bagi training gift lah or vouchers or whatever. Kalau you invite speaker for free training, maybe sometimes we give souvenir, kan? Any cost for post-training assessment. Contohnya after the training, you ask the trainer to come for a follow-up session. Or you buat mystery shopper. Okay, kena bayar ya. Okay, indirect costs are your staff punya time lah. Contohnya the observer punya time and participants time. But this one, indirect cost ni normally we don't put in the training budget lah. Okay, so only the direct cost we put in the training budget. Okay, and other considerations in establishing training budget, whether it's funded by HRDC or self-funded. Okay, and always refer to your training budget frequently, because I notice a lot of people do training budget. Lepas tu, when the year come, they don't really track it. They don't really track it. They don't really refer to it. Lepas tu koyak budget. Yeah. So have a mindset of ensuring training effectiveness, even though when it's not an expensive training. So every training that we do, we want to make sure there is some sort of effectiveness. Okay. And we can make it cost effective by combining participants to maximize the SIP. We can agree to long-term relationship package with good training provider. Okay. You can do that. Being selective in sending for public program. Jangan semua orang nak pergi public program sebab suka pergi hotel, you send, okay? So we have to be selective. And after they come back, we ask them to do the transfer of learning because one teach all concept. So in the company that I work in, after you go for public program, you have to come back and you need to do a TOL session, transfer of learning. You need to do a 1-2 hour session. And whoever that wants to come for your session, they come so that they can learn. All right? Okay. Deliverable number 3, training effectiveness. So any one of you know about Kirkpatrick model? Pernah dengar kan? Kirkpatrick model. Okay. So Kirkpatrick model, contohnya, is like this. Okay. So level paling bawah is the reaction. So you measure how happy is the participant using training evaluation. Lepas tu, level 2 is the learning. Whether they get new knowledge or not. You do pre and post test, contohnya. Level 3, you tengok ada tak mereka start applying. After the forklift training, they start driving forklift properly. After the leadership training, they start coaching participants, coaching their employees using role model, contohnya. Level 4, results, the ROI. Whether it resulted in better sales, lower cost, lesser customer complaint, yeah. So better EES, employee engagement score. So that is level 4. Okay. Of course, level 4 management 1 lah. Tapi the higher the level you want, the more things you need to measure. Okay, banyak kerja dia. That's why I say don't go for too many trainings. You kill yourself. Okay. All right, so the best practices is to plan what level and how to monitor during the TNA phase. So during the TNA phase, when you have your ATC keluar, you need to look at each and then you start a bit of planning. Okay, so this forklift training, I want to measure until level 3. This orientation training, just at level 2 ni lah, setakat bagi test je. Okay. So it will allow you and the trainer to be more focused than doing it as the training happens. Okay. Give you a scenario. So contohnya, this is what we really do in Theme Park. So we run this customer service training and we plan for it. Okay. So we say we want the training evaluation to be at least 4.2 out of 5. Okay. And we want to hear good things from the mouth of participants. That is level 1. Level 2, we want to see our participants recorded at least a 50% increase. So they buat pre-test, post-test. The post-test tolak the pre-test punya marker, at least got 50% jump. And we want all the participants to be able to write down 3 key ideas to implement. Then level 3, we want that hopefully after the training, we nampak mereka start exhibiting new behavior. other new greeting, gesture, smile. And the supervisor rating on the post-training behavior is positive. And of course, we also hope that lepas tu, kita nampak sales of slow-moving item increase by at least berapa. Okay? And overall sales target for those people yang we send for training increase by average 50%. Okay? So you should be thinking about this. So when next year come, 1 or 2 months before the training, you start doing all these things. Yeah? You start talking to your trainer. I want to see this. I want to see that. Can you give me a pre and post test? Yeah? Can you give me a spot checklist? Okay? So this is how it should be. Yeah? Right? Deliverable 4. Okay? Almost to the end already. Public program list and identified training provider. Okay? So when we choose trainer and training provider, of course, kita ada our selection criteria kan? Of course, cost of training lah, being the first one lah. Yeah? Covered under HLDC or not? How professional is the trainer? Boleh customize the training for us or not? Forte experience of the trainer. Training methodology, interesting or not the training? Just like presentation ke ataupun ada game ke, role play ke, yeah? Overall training package, after training service, boleh tak dia buat something for us? Yeah? Past review of the trainer, testimonial. Okay? So generally, these are the selection criteria. Okay, let me see my time. 11:51. I got 9 more minutes. Okay. So the last deliverable is the list of non-training intervention. All right. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's not all about training. So sometimes after the TNA, kita dapat feedback yang sepatutnya kita boleh do some of this. Contohnya, we can look into the on-job training, improving the on-job training. Operator don't know how to do their work well, faster, or there's defect. Look into the OJT. Coaching by the manager or by someone. Mentoring. Buddy system. Peers. Okay? One salesperson put together with another salesperson, let them learn. Secondment. Second them to maybe a client punya place ke, a project ke, let them learn. Or let them attend certain key meetings. For example, you want to build that leadership. Contohnya tadi yang I mentioned, the finance manager want to groom dia punya successor. Yeah? Benchmark visit. Go and visit organization that you know that are good. For example, in the theme park, we have visited Korea, Everland, and also Lotte. Everland and also Lotte. So this is the theme park that we find good. We go and do a benchmark visit. Mahal lah, mahal gila ya. So this must be planned properly, okay? And usually only for certain level, okay? And also could be readings. You want them to read up, yeah? Or could be community of practice. That means you join certain community. Contohnya you join MIM lah, SHRM lah, you join whatever community that you can learn certain things, okay? So these are example of non-intervention, non-training intervention that can also close the competency gap, all right? Okay, so we come to the end already. Any questions that I can take? Because after this question, maybe we can take a group photo together, yeah, Nina? We take a group photo together, then that's done already. Any questions that I can take? Maybe you can unmute your mic if you have any questions. It's easier to answer the questions verbally, yeah? Okay, any questions? Let me stop sharing here. Any questions that I can take? Are we okay with the content? I know there's a lot to digest in a 2 hours talk. Yeah. And I think from Excel Academy side, they will have this recorded session. So you can play back and look at it again. All right. So you can look at it again. Any questions? Any comments? Thank you, Razif. You put a thumbs up. All good? Okay. All right. Okay. All good. Thank you, Lai. Say, thank you. All right. Good. We managed to achieve it through the very short timeline. Okay. I know this is not as detailed enough, but at least something for you to think about. Okay. And probably you have already been doing some of the thing. Yang maybe yang some you belum buat lagi. You think, oh, okay, maybe I can try to do this. Thank you, Razif. My pleasure to share. All good. Thank you, Shanice. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So I think ada lagi ya. Okay. Thank you, Swiswan, Ummu. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So before you leave, shall we take a group photo together for my remembrance? Okay. Can we actually just switch on the camera? I want to know how you look like. Yeah. I removed the spotlight. Maybe I should change it to the gallery view. Okay. So can we switch on the camera? Whoever that can switch on the camera. Yeah. Nak bubur lipstick ke? Nak sikat rambut ke? You have a half minute to do it. Okay. We can fit everyone in one screen. Okay. Let's turn on camera. Let me have a look at you. Let us capture this moment. Thank you very much for coming. We are expecting more people, tapi the turn up is not so many, tapi tak apalah ya. Still jalan juga lah ya. Okay, all good. Zulaika, Tufu, Kila, Melvin, you want to show yourself? Okay, all right. Okay, boleh. So I just kira 3, lepas tu I press control print screen So I take photo Yeah, you want to show like Razif pun boleh. Ataupun you want to put that whatever emoji also can up to you. Yeah. Okay. Alright, Razif sudah lama menunggu ya. So kita control print screen 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, sekejap ya. I paste first I see nice or not first. Jangan leave dulu. Nanti tak nice kena ambil lagi. Nice lah. Okay lah. Nice lah. Alright. Thank you very much, everyone. Give yourself a big clap. I wish you all the best. I hope your TNA session will be smooth flowing. Okay. And I hope to see you again some other day. Alright. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, everyone. Okay. So Farah put a message there. Okay. So you can contact them if you need more training solutions from us. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Miss Kat, for the excellent presentation on the mastering competency-based training
Thank
needs
you.
analysis.
Thank you, Nina, for having me.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll send you the photo. Kalau the participants want, you send the photo to them. Okay?
All right, thank you. So
All right.
just for a reminder that the e-certificate will be provided through the NTW portal for everyone. So make sure to complete the TE assessment, and our video recording will be available on our YouTube channel, Excel Academy, within 24 hours.
Okay.
So other than that, right now in Excel Academy, we have a special offer. Pay 3 packs, get 2 free, where if you register 5 participants, you only have to pay for 3. So some of our courses available including AI tools training, CapCut and Canva training, digital marketing training, and also Microsoft training. So make sure to check this out on our social media page. All right, once again, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Okay. Thank you. I think I will leave. I will leave now. Okay. All the
Thank you, Miss
participants
Kat.
rasanya dah leave lah kan? Terima kasih, Zairi. Okay. Bye-bye. I'll leave now. See you.